This video is for worksheet 37-4, problem number 15, graphing parabolas. So the first thing I'm going to do on this particular problem is I'm going to label my A, which is -1, my B, which is -8, and my C, which is -14. And since my A number is negative, I know that this will look like a downward-facing parabola. All right, now my first step is to find the axis of symmetry, which is to simply use the formula x equals -b over 2a. So in this problem, when I do -b, that's the negative of -8, and then 2a is 2 times -1, which is going to give me the negative of -8 is +8, 2 times -1 is -2, which all equals to -4. So there's my axis of symmetry, and that again is a dashed line over here on x equals -4. All right. So my second step then is to find the vertex. The vertex is the corner point, which happens to land on the axis of symmetry. So we get to use that -4 number. And what we are going to do is we are going to plug -4 into the original equation. So y equals negative, and again, when we take the x out, we put parentheses in, and we plug in a -4 squared, minus 8, parentheses where the x used to be, -4 inside again, and then minus 14. At this point, you have the choice of using your calculator or doing order of operations, which is what I'll do. So -4 squared is 16, and I need the negative of that. -8 times -4 is +32, and then minus 14, and that is going to give me a total of 2. So then my vertex here is at -4, 2, which would be right here on the graph, at left to -4 and up to 2. All right. Now my final step is to find the roots, and we know that there are some occasional shortcuts. One of the shortcuts is to look for the y-intercept at -14, but -14 wouldn't fit on this graph. So I'm not going to use that shortcut. I'm actually going to use the quadratic formula to find the roots. So that would be the negative of b, so negative of -8, plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a, which is -1, times c, which is -14, all over 2 times a. So once again, we're probably going to need a calculator to do our work on this particular problem. So if you have your calculators handy, now would be the time to get them out to check to see if you're getting the same thing as me. So first off, I'm going to set this up into 3 parts. The part in front of the plus-minus sign, the negative of -8 right here, makes +8. The denominator, 2 times -1, is a simple one. And what I really need to work on here is this discriminant and the square root. So when I do that, I need to type it all in my calculator, and let's see what we would get here. We are going to get, let's see, square root, that'll be 64 minus 56. So I'm getting square root of 8. And the square root of 8 is going to be a decimal. Let's just go ahead and estimate that. It is going to be just under 3. Oops. So we're going to get something around 2.8. So let's use 2.8 in that spot. And yes, you do get a decimal sometimes. So for my first answer, I will use the plus sign. 8 plus 2.8, which gives me 10.8, divided by -2, which will give me -5.4. Now my second answer, which comes from the minus sign, 8 minus 2.8, which is 5.2, divided by -2 makes -2.6. So I now have my two roots, -5.4, which is pretty close to -5.5. And -2.6, which is pretty close to -2.5, which is now enough information for me to draw my parabola. All right, this was a rather tough one because of those decimals, but that's okay. It was still possible. We estimated, and our sketch looked great. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.